But I just remember him like trying to like sneak a finger. Then the next day, like it was like kind of feeling sore. But
trust me, you don't forget the first time that somebody tries to force something up your ass.
I wasn't a virgin until I met him. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Good to know.
Coach Greg and the podcast you've been waiting for. Finally, Akaash and his wife make an appearance together. She literally claims that she was a virgin.
The only redeemable thing about her being here is if she actually comes and have the conversation and has a serious one at that.
It would be one thing if she were on the podcast in order to make a heartfelt apology. If she were on the podcast to do that, well, hey, you're welcome. But what we wanted was Akaash's opinion on everything. And if you're sitting right next to him, what are the chances that he's going to be his true, authentic self?
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You can't imagine what you've been going through the last few weeks. Tell us, what's been on your mind?
Dude,
what's been on your heart?
I'm so glad you asked me, man. It's been really hard for me.
Hard for you?
Oh my God! Oh my God! Are you really going to dare say the things that you want to say when the person who's abusing you, who's controlling you, gaslighting you, who's doing all of those horrible things is right there next to you? What are the odds that Akaash is going to say what it actually means?
So when I got to college, I'm like, oh my God, I can dress however I want. I can do whatever I want.
You can have a roster of frat boys.
But
What does a roster mean?
so it didn't actually.
And so Akaash jumps in, hey, what does a roster mean? You were caught on 4K on a podcast explaining exactly what it meant. I had a roster of white frat boys, and I was taking turns with all of them.
And I had a roster of guys that I would rotate through. So it's like,
And so essentially when she went to university, she was like the free samples at Costco. Everyone is coming by, but no one wants to buy it. Have a taste and move on.
Translate to a roster. It just meant like 2 guys I was talking to and flirting with at the same time. That's it.
That's all.
The roster was only 2 guys that she was hooking up with at the same time. And by hooking up, she just means kissing. That was it. There was no hanky-panking going on down there. I mean, it's not like she didn't tell us the story about how when she woke up and her butthole was sore. Her words, not mine. And so she changes it from having a sore butthole to she just kissed him. You know, probably on the cheek. The way she kisses Akaash. No. More likely, you made out with these men the way you let your dog kiss you all over as much as he wants. And by dog, I'm not talking about un chien, as we say in French, or un perro, como dices in Espanol. We're talking about males who are dogs. You know the guys. They're going from one girl to the next. They're hooking up and they're dog. Now, for men, it's one thing, but for women, it's quite another.
Yeah.
And when you say hooking up, I think people
When
think you
I
meant...
mean hooking up, I just meant making out. Again, like everything I say is so amplified and hyperbolic because it's so like incongruous to who I actually am as a person.
Right.
And so she goes on to this podcast thinking, I'm going to play the virtuous female, the one with godly morals. I would never have done that with those men. Really.
if your man is weird about periods, that's a red flag. Break up with him immediately, no pun intended, because when I was in college, I dated this guy. You know, he didn't want to fool around when I was on like the heaviest days of my period. Okay, totally understandable, I get that. And I was like, oh great, good news, my period ended, like we can like have fun tonight, blah blah.
In university, you know, when she only had 2 men and she was just kissing them, he didn't want to fool around when she was heavy on her period. Last I checked, if you're just kissing someone, how does it matter what's going on down there? But it gets worse.
He was going down on me. Like, wouldn't you know it, I was still spotting. And also, if you're like poking around down there, like more blood can sometimes come out even if your period is over. And I swear to God, like I thought my period was done.
Going down on me. Does that sound like just making out? I mean, I know that Bill Clinton, former president of the United States, he did not have sexual relations with that woman, Monica Lewinsky, but yet she literally was his throat goat and he had remnants of his DNA on her dress.
Also, if you're like poking around down there, like more blood can sometimes come out even if your period is over.
Poking around out there and doing oral and poking around, that doesn't sound like a virgin to me.
First off, Akaash, you can't be this stupid, bro. This chick is not a virgin. This is just what she's admitting to.
This is what she's admitting to. Stories about spotting her period, guys being disgusted, telling women of the world, don't go out with a man who doesn't like it while you're on your period. She's telling stories about her butthole. Guys that just came over and spent the night and who she didn't want to mess around with, but, well, they probably had the face card and she couldn't resist.
I don't know what prude, who's getting dug out, who's getting ate out, who's getting finger banged on her period. This chick is not a prude. You can't be this stupid, man.
So you're a prude getting finger banged while on your period by various men in your frat house and you claim to be a virgin. What are you talking about?
I'm actively trying to have an orgy and you haven't seen Nav yet, but wait till you fucking see him. His body goes crazy.
I'm actively trying to have an orgy with Nav. You know, the bro with a 10-incher with the face guard because he's so hard because he's clearly a 4. And remember, prior to that, she's fantasized about all her former frat boys, of which were in rotation.
This couple is so good looking and you haven't seen Nav yet, but wait till you see him. His body goes crazy. His face card always slays, never declines.
Yeah, we've seen him and he's a 4. If that face guard goes crazy and you can't handle being off of him, what happens when you meet a true Chad? You know, 6'2", rich, handsome, athletic, with a lot of money. What are you going to do then? If this guy is your fantasy.
And it's kind of weird because I'm talking about your husband.
No, I kind of love it, but I'm like, us four? Okay, maybe.
And she's talking like this to his wife on a podcast about what she's tried to do in closed doors. This is not some joke that she just made up on the spot for some laughs. This is her true feelings. She's being her authentic self, of which she said, it's very difficult to come out in public and tell to the world all the things that I'm thinking, to honor my feelings, my emotions, my thoughts.
I actually love giving us fucking kudos because, like, let's give our fucking flowers. Like, if the internet's not going to do it, let's fucking do it ourselves because it's not fucking easy to share things that are really vulnerable about yourself, but you think will be helpful for other people or resonate with other people.
She literally wanted us to applaud her, to congratulate her. And so she said, hey, if they're not going to do it, I am. I am going to give my kudos to myself for talking about this. She literally did that. Can you imagine?
Maybe. I just know that Nav's dick is like at least 10 inches.
How does she know that? Has this in fact happened? How does she know for fact that it's more than 10 inches and thick?
I'm a hustler who scams a little bit. I'm not a scammer who
I'm not
hustles.
gonna lie, that was sexy. And that's why I'm actively trying to have an orgy.
And so in all of your life, how many virgins until marriage do you know fantasize and actively seek out having an orgy? In comparison, how many girls who have had body counts above 10, perhaps even triple digits, maybe even 100, how many of those are actively seeking orgies? Women who are pure, innocent, and not very sexual are likely not seeking out orgies during their marriage.
Now, would you have let him get some side in this hypothetical orgy?
Of course. Everyone should be included.
I mean, what are the odds she's going to go to her man and say, I want to sleep with another man, but you cannot? I mean, if that were the case, that would be a new level of low. I'm going to actively be cheating on you, but you cannot cheat on me back. And so we're going to have sexy time with other men, but you can't be involved. You can only watch.
Yeah. You think you can handle all 10 inches of Nav? You think you can take Nav down? Or is Nav taking it?
Come on, Nav's shorter than me. Who taking it?
Oh!
The fact he's sitting there and has to address these questions, which is all her fault, it's ridiculous. She should be apologizing, saying, I didn't mean it. It was completely a joke. It was a bad joke, and I will not do it again.
Okay, what the was that joke? Because I think for a lot of people, myself included, like I saw that and I was like, why would she even joke around about that?
I think I learned so much of my humor from Akaash.
Really? The level of gaslighting, that in fact is going crazy.
So the orgy joke started with like Akaash being like, oh, Nav's really hot. Like Akaash would show Nav's picture to his trainer or whatever because he's like really like, ripped or whatever.
You really think that her husband wants to hear how hot another man is so that he can show a photo of him to his personal trainer so that he can say, hey, I want to look like that? And so she's only doing that to help Akaash. You know, she wanted to be clear to him on the type of physique that she would like to have. And so she was doing Akaash a favor. The gaslighting, having your woman point out another man who you think is way hotter than you, that you want to have an orgy with, how is that beneficial to the relationship?
I will say also, if she had a body count, I would have been like, hey. Cut the. But because she doesn't, and I know how like innocent she actually is.
Oh, you are a virgin? That's real?
I wasn't a virgin until I met him, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
They say, so you're actually a virgin? She laughingly responds back, yes, I was a virgin till him.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, good to know.
Yeah.
They're like, really? Oh, yeah. You know, when people just don't believe what you're saying and they don't really want to cross-examine you back, I mean, her husband's right there, right in the room. Do you really think they're going to say, we don't believe you? Are you crazy?
And I think stupidly, I was like, oh, it's an orgy, so it's all of us. It's not like talking.
Yeah, that is stupid.
Akaash has been brainwashed to think that he has to bow down, happy wife, happy life. He's been to counseling, therapy, and been told, hey, she grew up this way, you grew up this way, and you have to just understand she's coming from here. And so let her be. Be a simp is essentially the brainwashing that's gone on. He was convinced to bow down, be a simp, and let her say and do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
If you heard what this chick says about that orgy and you thought she was joking, you're out of your mind, bro.
And honestly, I've dated people like this in the past, and when they make completely inappropriate jokes, I said, was that meant to be funny? If so, you need to do better. That is not going to pass. And after you say that, they say, oh, can't you take a joke? Oh, I was just kidding. No, you weren't. That is called a shit test. You're trying to see how big of a simp am I really? Perhaps you're not interested quite enough. But hey, I have a lot of money. And so you continue to push, to press certain buttons. How much can I say and he'll still be around? Not very far. One time, there's the door. It's as simple as that.
Okay, the other thing that we saw these videos of was the ducking the kisses. That was, those are, listen.
These ones piss me off.
Look good, Mr. Armstrong.
One of the worst things you can imagine, getting rejected repeatedly from your wife. When you go to kiss your woman, especially when you're an affectionate man like Akaash, someone whose love language is physical touch. If the woman of your dreams, your love of your life, is constantly rejecting you, turning her face away, removing herself, giving you improper body language, squaring away from you, prepared to walk away, dismissing your advances, there's almost nothing worse than that. She does it repeatedly and claims, hey, it's not my fault. There's people around, my mom and my dad. Now, granted, if it was once, twice, your parents around, it's awkward, you grew up in a family with no physical affection, I get it. We'll give you the pass in that instant, but not the rest of the time. Hey, your dog slobbers all over you, but you can't let your husband give you a kiss? That is simply not acceptable. And I can tell you this, the right man, you would accept it. If he had frame and you thought he was the love of your life, hottest man around, perhaps one of those frat boys that you fantasize about, you would turn and accept that kiss and reciprocate back. You would want it, cherish it, and look forward to it. You wouldn't care. Now, perhaps in the first year you're uncomfortable, your parents didn't show a lot of affection. A lot of us had families, parents like that. Doesn't mean that when you grow up, you can't ever kiss a woman in public. And so eventually, have you not been with them for 10 years? By then, you get used to it. And if not, you go to therapy and figure your shit out.
Also, can I just say that I would watch the videos and I would die laughing. As a friend who loves him, I would die laughing.
The fact that he has to sit there and listen to this. Bro's got 2 million followers. I'm just trying to imagine myself with 2 million followers as well. And having to sit on a podcast where my love of my life sitting next to me, the woman that I'm married to, is dodging my kisses and I have to sit there and listen how funny it is. No. There's the door. I don't care how much money you got to pay her off. You're going to lose half your assets. It's worth it in order to start over yet again. And trust me, you will find much better. Oftentimes people are married, they get a divorce and they think it's the end of the world. And almost always within a year, they've met someone else. I'm telling you, almost without fail, they have met somebody else. And so you might think, no, I'm stuck in this. I can't find somebody better. This relationship's better than nothing. No, it's not better than nothing. And I can almost guarantee you will eventually find better.
Okay, maybe it's like the repressed Indian girl thing where it's like I get a little bashful. I do get a little shy.
Shy girls don't go on podcasts talking about popping their pussies to white frat boys, nor about having orgies. Or having a sore butthole or giving stories about their periods. This is not the stories of someone who's shy. She is anything but.
This is like when Tinder first came out. There was no Bumble. There was no Hinge. I met this guy on Tinder. Whatever. Like we were like just feeling like the vibes. And I stupidly was like, oh, you can sleep over. But like not really wanting to hook up that much. Because again, for me, like I was just like, okay, maybe we can make out and just like whatever and cuddle.
And so imagine listening to a story from your virgin wife. You think is a virgin. You trust, you believe in her. And she's reminiscing about that one time when a man stayed over just to cuddle and she ended up with a sore butthole. You're thinking, how come all of these guys were sampling the Costco treats, but he ended up having to buy it? All these other men, they walked up and they took a treat, sampled, and they move on. Next, another sample. When you walk through Costco, there's samples everywhere. Try it, no problem. Perhaps you'll buy it. Nope, no thanks, just wanted to try it out. Akaash, he ends up, after everyone has sampled the cake, couple pieces left, not much, and he goes and buys it for full price. An expired, washed up loser of a female that treats him like this. He paid full price for that, and I would argue with interest. Think of it. He's buying her Hermes bags, all kinds of bullshit.
You really just hate me.
I hate you. I love you more than everything. Make it up to you on your birthday.
Any other woman would not believe the generosity of this man, but for her, oh, you're not buying me something else in a month. You just got me a Hermes bag. You don't even love me.
I was thrown off by her inviting him over. Because when I've been invited over, that usually means, oh, we're f***ing.
No, I know. That was, again, stupid decision on my part. I was like 21.
You know, I was 21. It's a bad decision. I'd only been in university by 2 or 3 years at that point, and I'd only had 2 men on my roster. Only had ever made out with 2 men. Do you think there was only 2 men on that roster? Is anyone going to believe that story? Or do you think it was 200? At least 20. Anyone believe it's actually 2, or do we have to add a 0? As in, at least 20 men have been around her butthole and wherever else.
But I just remember him like trying to like sneak a finger, and I was like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
But like then the next day, like it was like kind of feeling sore, but it wouldn't, like if it had been anything else, it would, that would have been a whole other story. It would have been like.
Do you really think you're giving a gentle kiss, barely, you're just kind of slightly making out, and suddenly your hand goes on an adventure? It doesn't reach for up there. No, it didn't want to touch that whatsoever. It went directly for back there. And with enough effort, with enough effort, harder than last time, that it caused her to be sore the next day. I don't think that's a miss, a slip up, if you will, an oopsie from an inexperienced 21-year-old. To get to that point, you've been doing it for ages. To have the nerve, the guts, to go to, I don't even know what base that is. Is that 5th base? Is there such a thing? and for her to be sore. Now, let's say her story checks out. He gave her a little kiss. Somehow, she's naked. How is his hand getting there? And somehow, he slips and pushes with force. How would she react? She's saying, I barely remember. Trust me, you don't forget the first time that somebody tries to force something up your ass. And so Akaash has to sit there with enough cognitive dissonance to actually believe her, to trust her so much that no matter how ridiculous the story sounds, yeah, it sounds about right. Not possible.
So this was a creep pervert that was trying you. And the internet ran off with this crazy narrative of something completely different.
Yo, security, you got to find those.
He spent the night. What would she have said? Ow, oh, God, Jesus Christ, what are you doing? Have you ever had an experience? This is not something that just happens. There needs to be some lubrication. Did she bring out the sweet and blow? How was this possible? Did he just spit? This is not something that people do. On a first date with a girl that you're just kissing and nothing else is going on, from a virgin, you're not experimenting with her asshole. And so go check out the Poetic Flacco show. Go check out the Flagrant show. I agree with everything he's saying. Hopefully you enjoyed my rendition of what's actually going on. And so again, gentlemen of the world, get in shape, get on Turk Builder Max, of which there's a money back guarantee and a $50 gift card. Put the fork down, do some cardio, and get the body that at least has a chance of getting a good woman. The better you look, the more women are going to come and visit. And after that, they can then just find out what's inside of you. This is the ticket. Looking your best, presenting your best self, so that more women are interested in finding out who is the real you. If you can do that, you will find someone better than this. Don't settle for a woman like this. Don't be a simp. Don't think that the world who's brainwashed you is actually trying to help you. They're trying to lower you and allow women to control you. Enough is enough, and a good woman, she is going to agree with me. If you show this woman, hey, this is the litmus test. You show a woman this video, and if she doesn't agree with everything that I'm saying, there's the door. If you don't agree with Coach Greg, you're not a good woman. That is my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. That is my advice. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to watch any of those two moves, of course. Algo RX for the GLPs to help you lose weight. Enclomiphene, testosterone, whatever you need, get to Algo RX. Cookbooks, coaching plans with me and my team, training books, all of it. Get to the website. And until next time, I am out.